Prepper 808. Going live right now. Kind of had a little bit of difficulties with my um, gadgets here, my devices. But, anyways, today I want to talk about or have a community chat regarding fear and panic or prepared. Are you in fear and panic or are you prepared? My gosh. So, with everything going on, guys, and finding through the coconut wireless line here that there is still panic and fear going on in my state. And a lot of people have been wiping out certain shelves. Surprisingly, the food is all still there in the shelves, and except for the paper goods, the toilet paper, as well as your paper towels. And that the thumbnail picture that I showed here for this live, this was today at Walmart. And I figure, okay, I'll go take a look, see what's going on. Had no idea that the aisle of toilet paper and paper towels were pretty much wiped out there, and I did not want to go into the big box stores because I am sure that it is crazy and so much people just basically panicking and buying things out there in fear of the shipping disruptions, strikes, dock worker strikes, and whoever knows what else. But these are those that have not prepared. And if you are in the know and you are prepared, you will already have the much necessary essential items for you and your family. And we don't wait to the last minute. So most of us upkeep on what's going on, not just in our neck of the woods, but also in the states, the other states. We keep abreast and updated on a lot of things going on. And YouTube has a lot of prepper channels that help us to know and be in the know when our regular mainstream media news does not report a lot of the things that we are already finding out through one another. Mind you, we do have to weed through a lot of this, and we do have to do our homework and research when it comes to all things preparedness. And we don't want to just go off on everyone's information. We want to confirm for ourselves any type of knowledge and information when it comes to all things preparedness. And so, in my state, the people are panicking. But I had a good chat with one of my neighbors that I live next door to, across the street from me, and he works on the docks here. He actually works with my brother on the docks. And I was mentioning these things to him, and he told me not to panic or anything like that. But I told him I never panic. I'm not in the panic mode. I'm already prepared. So he mentioned to me, he said the people are just crazy here. They're just flying off the handle and panicking and hoarding things when it's unnecessary for them to do so. But the people of Hawaii have a tendency to do things such as that. And so he also mentioned that Costco's has containers upon containers down at the docks that have yet to be unloaded here. And so, if anything, if SHTF would arise when it comes to anything regarding shipping and or on the docks, strikes in all of those things, I will be one of the first to know. In fact, everyone on my street here will be the first to know because that neighbor of mine's will notify all of us, as well as my brother will notify all of us. But to confirm these panic shopping going on, I do have connections with individuals that work at Costco's because I used to work at Costco's as well. And we keep in contact every so often. And I always check up on them, see how they're doing, and ask them what's going on, prices, how is the toilet paper run going, and they tell me it's crazy. People are just getting all crazy, and the Costco's here. A couple of them have run out of um, paper towels as well as toilet paper. So that's the first thing that people do when they panic. I am thinking food is probably the next thing that'll occur. But the people are not prepared. In order for anyone to do something like that, they have to be ill prepared. And we all know that this will happen. This has happened, as we saw back in 2020. And so be prepared, have everything that you need, all your essential items, be it medication, water, food, canned goods, freeze dried foods, even though we know that the prices are ridiculously high. They're only going to get even higher. So buy what you can, buy what you can afford. If you're on a fixed income, don't go overboard, don't get yourself into debt. That's something that none of us wants. And a lot of us are actually working to pay off that debt. To me, debt and credit cards is a form of enslavement. So it enslaves us all. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm glad you're here. Do put in your comments, your thoughts on all of this. All of us would love to hear that, your advice and tips as well when it comes to preparedness. I know that we all live in different areas and locations across the United States, as well as in different countries. And this would be really a wonderful time to comment what your state is going through, what your country is going through, how is the economy there, the prices there, because I know the prices really fluctuate throughout the United States. So all the other states is probably way more or less than our state, Hawaii. But Hawaii, New York, as well as California, the prices are really, really ridiculous. And we need to be selective, especially if we're on a fixed income. And I'm on a fixed income. And so I do the best with what I have, what I can do, what I'm able to afford. That's why what comes in really handy is, you know, finding different ways to make more income, to get more income coming in, to be able to afford the necessary items. Now it's all about necessity and no frivolous purchasing and whatsoever. I think I'm done and over with anything frivolous. If I'm thinking of something frivolous, that frivolous item and or items need to be making me money now. It needs to be turning some funds into whatever I decide to purchase. But more than likely, frivolous items are no go for me, including the precious metals, which I've made a video about that. And my precious metal shopping is done and over. I've done quite a bit of that as years gone by, previous decades, and I had no clue those would go up as well. but even precious metals fluctuates there indeed. And we all know that the prices there have been suppressed for years, if not decades as well. So if you do, buy, purchase, stack precious metals, stack that accordingly as well. If you can afford to stack even more, by all means, do so because that will preserve our future wealth and it's worth a lot more than the fiat currency, the paper dollar that we all have. And we're noticing that in the stores, the inflation, we're noticing these prices that our dollars can't buy much. When I go grocery shopping, one bag is at least up to $100 here. And it's not very much items in that bag either. So I really, really need to be selective. And I no longer stock up like I used to, full on stocking up of a whole bunch of things. No, that's no more. It's all done now. Now it's just filling in holes and gaps for myself here in this state because everything is just ridiculous. If you go look in my community page, I did post something there regarding why people leave Hawaii. Everything in that video there is exactly true. It's so sad, but it's very true. And, you know, every state, I believe, has their pros and cons. But I don't know. A state like this has a lot more cons than anything, you know. And I'm not really in that position to move or leave here. So I'm pretty much planted in this spot. Now we all know about the war going on in Europe and stuff, and everyone's worried about that as well. I know our state is a huge target on the map here because we have a lot of military service people here. Um, it is what it is. Basically, I'm not sure what's going to go down there. I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm not going to worry about it. That's something that I really can't see, as well as everyone else. We can talk about it, we can discuss it, we can have friends or informants giving us information regarding some of these things. But we just don't know. You know, for all I know is the information given is probably half and half. Half may be true, the other half, I'm not too sure how true or false it may be. So I'm not going to get myself all crazy, and I don't expect anyone else to get themselves all crazy and thinking about all these things and worry about things that are beyond our control. Because a lot of things are truly beyond our control. What we can control is what we are able to do, what we can afford, going about doing things differently, being more creative in how we do things, trying our best not to limit ourselves because there's always opportunities within in opportunities and we can always do things differently and we can make that change that we'd like to see in the world. We can be a better version of ourselves and do everything in our power. And that's the thing, everyone needs to realize that they all have power and there's more of us and less of them. I mean, boycotts. My gosh, 2023 is the year of boycotts. That's a big signal, a big sign. And that is more powerful than regular protesting as well. But I'll leave it at that. I'll just plant the seed here and leave things at that. But yeah, don't panic. Don't be in fear. when it comes to all of these things that are coming at us from all directions. I think that's what the powers that be wants us to feel and wants us to be in that space of fear and panic. No, we know better, and we're not falling for any of this crap because a lot of it is. And a lot of it is look over here, not over there. But you need to be looking everywhere. You need to have your eyes all the way around your head, all over your body, and you need to be navigating through everything and stepping back and taking a hard look at things and not allow things to sweep you away, not allow your emotions to get the best of you. Because during this time, that can happen. And so we also need to prepare emotionally, mentally, spiritually, as well as physically, and bring all of that into alignment and a type of balance for us to be able to better see, navigate things with the greatest of clarity, especially with everything going on now, and not be confused and frustrated and angered. If one is to be angered, channel that anger into something productive and constructive. Channel that into gaining a new skill, into gardening, into fixing things around the home, into helping and assisting a neighbor that needs assistance or help somewhere in some type of area. And there's so much that we can do, so much we can provide, as well as being of service to others, not just ourselves. Um, if you can form that community within your neighborhood, that would be a plus. That would be a huge benefit to everyone. Getting to know your neighbors, finding out what they do, because that's another bonus, especially if you have doctors, nurses on your street, in your neighborhood, if you have military servicemen, police officers, a whole bunch of different, people doing different skills. They have different skill sets in their jobs. That would be something good to know and good to find out. Now, I know not everyone gets along with their neighbors, but if you can, see if you can try. If not, well, that's understandable because the hubby here doesn't get along with all the neighbors. But seemingly I do because I see the benefit of it farther out than he does. And, you know, to each his own, if I can help them in any way, shape, or form, then I'll help them. But another thing is, I don't broadcast what I have. I don't broadcast being a prepper to anyone here. I just ask them questions and see if they're okay, if they're ready for hurricane season, because we are in hurricane season in Hawaii. And they're looking at a busy hurricane season. I'm not sure if we're going to get hit, but we've been able to dodge the bullet every single year. But knowingly, everyone here knows that there's going to come a time when we'll no longer be able to dodge that bullet. So it's always great to be prepared in all aspects and have everything that you need that is necessary for you and your family. Even having a emergency funds supply on hand in the event that there's a power outage or a grid down, as I've been hearing across the states. If something like that happens and we wouldn't know how long it'll be before the power goes up, it's also good to have all of those necessary items, batteries, and perhaps some people candles LED candles, your generators, be it gas, solar, your solar power stations as well. That is another good thing for power outages. And just having everything powered up, your devices and everything at all times. Having your washing machine dryer, your uh, sink all cleared up, everything always cleaned up and cleared up just in case. I think it was a week ago or a second week, 2 weeks ago, where our water went out. And luckily, I had everything cleaned out of the sink and out of the wash. Yeah, because the water went out for a couple hours, which is really nothing compared to if the water went out for a week or 2 weeks. That's when you're going to be in serious trouble if you don't have a backup water supply as well. A lot of water, depending on how much family you have, how much family members, pets as well. So it's always imperative to be prepared all the way around and just don't stop if you can just continue. If you're fixed income, like I mentioned, do it sporadically, not going overboard or anything. Know that you can also barter as well with your neighbors, perhaps your friends, family members, as well as coworkers. Bartering is good to get into, which I've also been bartering with different friends, mostly friends, neighbors too. So my neighbors grow things, they grow food. One neighbor grows weeds while the other neighbor grows flowers, but I prefer to grow food. And I asked that neighbor that grows the flowers, "Are you growing any food?" And she said, "No." I said, "Well, I'd rather be growing something to eat than growing something to look at." I mean, looking at flowers is pretty and you can combine that in between, but in my own humble opinion, I want to be able to eat what I grow. So, ah, yeah, don't panic. My state. Don't be like a lot of the people here, which they are just crazy. Just crazy. And I think this happens all over, not just my state. But since my state caught wind about the dock strike, shipping delays, and then they just went on a rampant and panicked and started buying all the toilet paper up. Um, I don't know. That's human nature. That's human nature here that we deal with. Um, Whenever there's something at everyone's doorstep is when they start panicking. They never prepare ahead of time. And that's what preppers do. They prepare way ahead of time because when the need arises, the time to prepare has already passed. And that's something that we don't want to be at in that space. We don't want to be around the people that are panic buying as well. Although I do want to pitch a chair at these places and just watch, perhaps make a video and just observe everything. Who knows? I might just do that. Maybe one day. I don't know. Um, yeah, that sounds really funny. I think we all should do that just to show what we got going on in our states when that occurs. Unless you don't want to be around, I totally understand. I wouldn't want to be around that madness myself. If I could sit afar and watch it, that would be really cool, really funny, really crazy at the same time. But yeah, guys, don't panic. There's no panic. Don't fear. Don't hoard. And I know preppers don't hoard. We all know who the hoarders are: the people that don't prepare, the people that just are blind to everything and are not awake to the economy, what's going on in their state, what's going on financially, the housing, the war. I mean, yes, a lot of people hear about the war, but that's about it because it's not there. It's not on their turf, you know. And that's the farthest that a lot of people see it, especially in my state. They don't understand that living on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, we are very, very, we're a target. We're just vulnerable out here because 90% of all of our goods are shipped and or flown. Now, once SHT hits, that's all going to stop. Once that stops, all the stores will have approximately 7 days worth of food. That will disappear within a matter of hours. And I would liken to say less than 5 hours, that would all disappear. So, no one really understands the predicament of being on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Um, Everyone doesn't think anything is going to really happen here. They don't think things are going to happen to them and to their state. But little do they realize that we're out in the middle of nowhere. And once things stop, that's it. We're done. We're pretty much done. We can't get food. We can't get nothing. Don't even think about going out into the forest either. A lot of people here think they can just go out into the forest and go hunt and fish and everything like that. But little do these people realize that they're not the only ones that are going to be doing that. The entire island is going to be doing that. And everything is going to disappear. Everything is just going to be pummeled across the state in any forestry here. So I remember a while back, a friend of mine told me, "Oh, I'm just gonna go in the forest and I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna forage for food there and hunt there and get this and that." I go, "Oh, really? Now tell me this. When was the last time you practiced doing that?" And she shut up. And I said, "How long would you be able to survive in that forest without practice, without having to go on into there and actually hunt and forage for food yourself? How are you going to do all of these things with two babies? Really? How?" She couldn't answer me. She didn't have an answer. She had no clue. She couldn't, it didn't, none of this registered. This is what happens. It doesn't register in people's heads that have not taken the initiative, gone into that forest, foraged for whoever how long, practiced this on a continuous type of basis, if not daily, weekly, monthly, anything, any kind of practice. They're not going to survive. That's what I was trying to tell her. But I'm not going to tell her that you're not going to survive. You know, just the way that I said it made her think. She needs to practice. She needs to have a plan. She needs to know what she's doing if she decides to go here, go in a forest. And this goes for anyone else that have not done that and thinks that they're gonna, "I can't do that. I haven't done that. I haven't practiced that." I would never say something like that without having some type of skill set, without having some type of plan. This island is only so small and you can only go in a circle. Period. and everyone will just ravage from everyone will steal, everyone will, you know, all the fruit trees, all everything will be bare, will be stripped. The forest will be stripped of everything. You really need to have that skill. You really need to know how to do these things and be practicing a lot of this stuff, which a lot of people that I know here, they're just as skilled as I am in a forest. We'll all die, basically. So, you know, hopefully I made some sense to this person. Hopefully, if she's really serious about doing stuff like that, she's gotten things into practice for her and her family's sake. But I can tell you right now, the answer is no, because I know. I know how people think. I know how my friends, coworkers, family members are when it comes to these things. They're just gonna figure they can just go out there. If they have to bug out, they're gonna bug out. But where are you gonna bug out? Do you have a boat? Now if you have a boat, it wouldn't be too bad, but then you're gonna need fuel. You're gonna have to plan on that fuel. Everything needs to be planned. And now I'm speaking of here only with those that I do know. None of them have plans. None. So to each his own. Um, None of them know how to use a firearm. None of them that I know of knows how to protect themselves. None of them are preparing for anything. A lot of them are not. I know a few people that are preppers, a few people that are preparing here. But it's on the down low. We know each other, and we can speak freely amongst each other about a lot of different things where people would think we're crazy. But we're not the crazy ones, and we all know that. The ones that don't prepare are the most craziest out of all of us. In my humble opinion, that's what I feel, that's what I think. Not even my father is prepared. Not even my brother is prepared. I don't live next to them either. And they don't really know where I live either. But I help them out. I've helped them out before, and I helped them out when 2020, all that hoopla in 2020, and they were ill prepared, and I had everything, so I delivered whatever it was they needed. So I helped them out. I also gave all my family members nuclear tablets in the event we have a blowout. So they all have their tablets. Um, Majority of them do. I gave them all bottles themselves for them and their families. Just a peace of mind, because I have a lot of that, and I'm able to assist them. And if need be, if my neighbors need, I'm able to assist my neighbors as well. I don't want to be the only one living here. I need others. We all need support. We all need that network. And building that network of support is something that I believe we all need, and we should work on and work towards if we have not done so by now. Um, I've pretty much, with my neighborhood, my neighbor, my whole street, we're pretty close knit here, and we share things with one another. Our harvests, what we're growing, whatever it is. I pet sit a lot of the animals on the street. Um, we just help out one another, and that's a good thing, especially now during this time with the way things are going and stuff. You never can tell. It's as if I'm not sure what I'm gonna wake up to every day. We're all not sure. what headline we're going to wake up every day. And I keep wondering when I keep hearing all these military flights and airplanes just flying every day or night. And I'm thinking, oh man, when is the bomb going to drop? It kind of makes you wonder, especially when it's more and more excessive, when there's an excess of military planes flying all hours of the day and night. It's pretty kind of crazy. I mean, I'm not next to any of these military bases, but I'm very close to a lot of them, and I'm very close to Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor is it's too close, actually. I mean, it's farther from where I live, but I can see it. I can just walk outside my door and there it is, yonder in the distance, very distinct, and I know that's Pearl Harbor. And one of my cousins works at Pearl Harbor. So if anything, I'll hear something from her as well. Um, Hopefully ahead of time. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and have a little community chat, but I wanted to do this on my laptop, mm, but I did it, I set it up on my phone, and uh, I have to set it up on my laptop instead next time, perhaps on my computer. Um, but I haven't done a live in a long time, and I figure I might as well just jump on here, check in with all of you folks, making sure you guys are all okay, you guys are all prepping, continuing to do the things that you need to do for you and your family, and gathering those essential items for you and your family, and doing your best not to panic and be in fear. I know fear is something that we all do. Humans get into fear and stuff, but fear is there for a reason. It's not there to harbor, and it's not there to control you. Never allow fear to control you. Fear is something that we can't see. It's like anxiety. I once asked a friend who has anxiety, what does anxiety look like? What does fear look like? You can't touch it. And I also asked her, how does one allow something unseen to have control over you? These questions, I just plant seeds. It makes them think and make them wonder about things, because a lot of these things I believe are programs, and we're being programmed in so many different ways without realizing it. Our critical thinking has been shot. Powers that be don't want us to critically think for ourselves and know the difference between right and wrong, truth and not truth. See, they don't want us to be in that space. Why? Because that is where power lies. That is where we become empowered beings that they don't want. And they don't want us to know the truth of everything. But it's kind of too late because it's all out there now. And it's punching everyone in the face and slapping everyone in the face. Although we know that many are still compliant, because a lot of these systems work on compliance and have everyone compliance, everyone brainwashed. I don't watch TV. I watch a lot of YouTube. That's my form of TV. But I have to sift through a lot of stuff as well on YouTube. But I prefer watching YouTube than TV. The hubby watches TV and he gets brainwashed quite a lot through TV. So there's only one brainwashed in this house. You need somebody that isn't brainwashed and like a zombie. Mm, there's too many zombies already. So yeah, we need to critically think. We need to critically use our mental capacity to be able to decipher and discern things from out of the ordinary, which is rampant right now. And deception, corruption, all of these things are so rampant right now. Um, it's crazy. It's just the crazy world we live in. And who ever even thought that our country would turn this way? It's crazy. But at the same hand, I must admit, I do believe that we all had a hand in this, to some degree, to some level and or another. Therefore, we can get ourselves out of this mess. We're all responsible and accountable for a lot of these things. And so, I'm coming together with all our heads, with solutions, is another thing that I think we can do. We have that power. We can do that. We can bring solutions to the table. I mean, look what happened. Look at those boycotts. My gosh. Look how powerful those boycotts were. Now, let's shift that boycott to a lot of other things. You know what I'm saying? Just planting seeds here. I'm just saying. Just saying. I'll let you figure out the rest. I don't want to get shut down here. But you know what I mean. We have the power. We have the power to do what we need to do for not just ourselves individually, but collectively as well. Coming up with many solutions, bringing our heads together. Cool heads always prevail. And there's so many ways of doing things. It's unlimited. It's multiple. It's just up to us to come together. To come together as a family, as one entity together. Because this is just craziness that's going on in this world. And all this nonsense needs to be thrown out the window, basically, with all those um, that belong with the nonsense, if you know what I'm saying. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to throw stuff out here today. I just wanted to chat with you all, have a little preparedness chat. Haven't been on the live for a while. Um, busy doing things, busy making money, busy paying bills, just busy filling in gaps as well. I watch a lot of channels, here and there from time to time. I unplug, which is something that I habitually do. I watch different things. That way I don't just watch all the doom and gloom stuff. You know, I'll watch more entertaining things, maybe even a couple kitty cat videos as well, kind of change it up a bit. Do it yourself videos, gardening, all those things, gain more skills, practice more things, just keeping myself productive and constructive, um, staying out of the negative space as much as I possibly can, taking care of my health, my wellness, and my well being as well, being aware of my surroundings, having that situational awareness at all times, whether if I'm at home and or if I'm out and about, because I do know craziness is trending now these days. So it's always good to you know have that situational awareness with you and practice that with your family. Have all your kids have situational awareness as well, something that would really help them as well, wherever they may be, with you and or without you. And that could probably save them as well as save other people. I'm not saying anything will happen or won't happen, but we all know that we live in crazy times, unstable times now. And so we must be more vigilant, more careful, more aware, and awake to everything that's going on in our environment and in our surroundings always. I would really hate to be caught off guard, if anything. I feel like a lot of times I'm like a radar. You're like you're you're wherever you go. If you're driving around, if you're going um, to stock up or something, or if filling up gas, or if you're walking, exercising, if you're talking to your neighbors, or if you're just at home and you're just kind of scoping your neighborhood out, scoping your street out. It's like I feel like my radar is always turned on. It's even as I go to bed, even when I go to bed, I'm like, when everything is quiet and my ears are like, zzz, they're super perked, and I'm still, going with my radar like nonstop. It's kind of crazy. It never was like this before. I don't know if you experienced this or you're going through this yourself, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's gotten to this point where you need to be aware. You need to be on your toes, and you need to be on top of things 24/7, like every second. Um, I wouldn't call that fear. I wouldn't call that worry. What would I call that? Just be prepared, you know? Just be prepared in all ways and at all times, as much as possible. You know, it's strange, but I think it's a good thing, you know? I really believe it's a good thing, and I believe everyone should have their radars on at all times, no matter what. Don't never turn that radar off. Just keep that radar going, whether you're looking in the skies, or you're looking in the sea, or you're looking on land, or your surroundings, your environment, your neighborhood. Just keep that radar on. You never can tell. If you're in a parking lot, especially, you know what crazy people are lurking in that parking lot, day or night. So we got a lot of people that are stealing and just robbing homes. I mean, even in my neighborhood, people are doing that. I haven't heard anything on my street though. So far, no one's been robbing anyone on this street, but I've heard of other streets over from mine's that homes have been robbed 3, 4 times, the same homes. So I don't know if they have dogs, but everyone in my neighborhood, as well as on my street, they all have dogs. So people think twice before coming in to their homes and on their properties. So that's kind of crazy. We've been pretty blessed, on my property. And, from time to time through the years, I've seen strange people come on our street, and I would just stay there and just watch them. I wouldn't go in the house, and I would just watch them all the way till they left the street. They didn't look like they belong, and that's the thing. You know, when you watch on your street and you see these funky people that you've never seen before that don't belong in your neighborhood, you know, you keep an eye on those people because and those people tried to rob my neighbor across the streets. They tried to go into his car, but my husband yelled at him, and the guy went running. And this was early in the morning. This was like 4 in the morning. When I had Rottweilers, I love that because my Rottweilers, they're like black. So at night you can't see them, but you can hear them when they start growling. So whoever would decide to come on my property, they wouldn't know where that would be coming from. And so we've been pretty blessed in my home on my property. I really got nothing to steal anyways. If anything, I should put a whole bunch of crap that I no longer need out so somebody will take it from me. So I don't need it. Or put crap in your car that somebody's going to steal. So they take that crap from, you don't need that crap. That's one way of getting rid of stuff. But I don't know if that's a good way of doing it. But I did think about that. That thought did cross my mind several times, but I didn't. But I don't know how your neighborhoods are. But throughout the neighborhood where I live, on Oahu, there's a couple of drug houses. So, you know, everyone knows what house that is. So everyone avoids it as much as possible. And in on my street, several years ago, we did have a drug house here. It was right across from us, and it was like the craziest thing. Everyone on my street lived in fear. Everyone. But when we got here, since we had rots, we, we weren't afraid. We were just looking at them like they were weird. And if I just give them a look like, go right ahead, you're on your own. So, but that's no longer here. They're gone already. Thank gosh. My neighbors, my poor neighbors, they lived in years in fear. But yeah, you need to pay attention to everything that's going on. You need to keep that radar on 24/7, every second. You never know what crap goes on, and there's just too much, just too much, too many things occurring, um, and we just need to be on our toes. This is like a battlefield. We're already on a battlefield if you think about this. Wherever we are, nowhere is really safe. Um, think about that too. We can't predict when things will occur, things will happen, what type of things will occur, what type of things will happen. But we can prepare as best as we can for everything, for anything, as much as we can. We can prepare our families, have them prepared, have our children, prepared, run through things with everyone, have our plans in place as much as possible. If there's a power outage, fires, and things, have plans, have several different plans. And those plans should also have backup plans as well. And everyone should be on the same page as much as possible. And if you have someone outside of the home, perhaps outside family member living someplace else, or friends, family members living in other states, share that plan with them as well so that they know what to expect and or what to do or where you're going to be or what you can do. And you're going to have that plan with them, and that basic plan, so that they know and you both know. And if any updating needs to be done on those plans, be sure to update all of those that are included in the plan, all of those that are connected with that plan. Have everyone on the same page as much as possible. And so, yeah, I think, I don't know if I spoke enough, but yeah, have a plan, always prepare, Do not fear and panic. When we go into fear and panic, we have a tendency of not thinking straight, and that's a space where you don't want to be in. That's a place where you don't want everyone to be in. You don't want all your family members and everyone under that same roof feeling and being that way. You want everyone to have a calm, collective, clear mind as much as possible to be able to better navigate through whatever situation that we will all, or we may all, be situated in at any given moment. And so having a plan is something very important, but also having all of your preps, backup preps, your food, water, medications, medicines, your first aid kits, your pet supplies, everything, your nuclear emergency supplies, uh, your cash, your emergency fund, cash funds, supplies on hand as well. Just having everything that you need, that you use, you and your family, that you eat and you use on a continuous basis, perhaps tools and parts that you may need, and that you kind of slacked and haven't picked up yet. Um, Pick up on those right away, if anything, just in case there is like a major shipping disruption, or the UPS will go on a massive strike, as we're hearing that they may go on a massive strike, and there's like, what was it, 360,000 of them, and that may go on that massive strike in July. So if you're ordering anything online, order it right away. You never can tell when those shipping businesses and services will shut down or be on lockdown or go on a strike and all of those things. So it's good to order whatever it is that need to be ordered online, ordered right away. If you do ordering in stores, physical stores in your area, order that right away as well. You never can tell if those stores will shut down for some odd reason, and or if they may be closing, because we're also hearing that a lot of stores and businesses are closing nationwide. Now, Walmart's only closed one store in our state here. uh, this Walmart was located in downtown Chinatown in Honolulu. I'm thinking the only reason why that one closed is probably it's slow, and the whole downtown shuts down after a certain time. I think maybe 5, 6 o'clock, um, and or could be homeless. So we have a lot of homeless people all over the state. They're everywhere, and a lot of them are downtown as well. So that could have been one of the major contributing factors to it. But I'm thinking that the main factor would be because they're the slowest Walmart, because the other Walmarts are really busy, and our Walmarts are pretty much stocked except for the paper towels and the toilet paper, which it's empty. It's completely out. And so every other one is really stocked up. The other stores, they're pretty stocked. We're not out of stock here. And so versus a lot of the states, because I see a lot of the states shelves are really, really bare. Um, but our shelves are pretty stocked up. So, I know that can change at any moment, any second, just that if something arises, people will get all panicky and just buy out everything, but for the time being, everywhere is pretty stocked up here. Nothing to really lose sleep over. Um, just be sure to prepare. If you are from Hawaii, always prepare. Be sure to have long term, short term food pantry stocked up, your water supplies stocked up. You're going to need a lot more water than just drinking water. You're going to need water to cook, water to clean, water water to bathe, water for your to drink, water for your pets as well. You're going to need a lot of water. So, however way you get it, cases of water, and filling up your tub with water, um, filling up bottles, filling up, empty containers with water and stuff. So, the good thing is, Hawaii rains a lot, so it's not too bad if you have rain barrels. Rain barrels really help to catch water, and you can filter that water and you can use that water for your garden. You can use that water for other things. I'm not sure if you're going to want to drink that water. If worst case comes to worse, you might have to. But just stock up on a lot of water. Especially if you have a big family, you're going to need that much more water for that big family. And if you have a lot of pets, you have a lot of livestock, you're going to need that much more water. Not just water to drink, not just a couple cases. You're going to need a lot of cases. Then you're going to need to rotate those cases because there are expiration dates on the water as well. I guess you can do the reverse osmosis to those waters, if anything. But what I do is I use it for cleaning. I use it to brush my teeth. If it expires, especially if the water goes out, like when our water went out a couple of weeks ago, I used that for cleaning or brushing my teeth. That's what I use. But I make sure that I restock and I resupply what I've used. So I replace that right away as much as I can. So I'm always, stocked there. But yeah, rain barrels are great. Get yourself rain barrels. Get yourself a couple of barrels, situate them, set them up, depending where you live. I know on the Big Island, there's a lot of catchment systems that they have because the Big Island has a lot of rain, especially in Hilo. Hilo is like nonstop, and so they get a lot of rain, a whole lot of rain. So I think Hilo is soggy by now with that much rain. But yes, the Big Island did experience Kilauea erupting. Um, so no one is in any danger when it comes to Kilauea's eruption. Right now, it's far away from homes. It's in a park that's far away from any business, any homes, and so forth. If there's any danger, then the officials will notify everyone of that danger of the volcano. But right now, I think the only danger that I see from Kilauea volcano would be the ash, the fog. The fog is very, that's kind of dangerous to your breathing, especially if people have asthma. And, in that fog, there's sulfur and there's all those, it's hard for people to breathe, and it's really not good. And that glass, that volcanic glass is in that fog as well. So if you're living close to that fog, depending on the wind pattern and how the wind shifts and blows the fog, you're going to need to really prepare for that. Make sure you have your proper mask, medications, and seal up, I guess, parts of your home so that air doesn't get in. It's nasty. It's very nasty because that volcanic ash and that fog and that smoke, it's it's horrible, and it goes whichever way the wind blows it. So sometimes if it's south blowing winds coming to this island, Oahu, we get it. It's horrible. It's just horrible. So that's something that health wise, it's not good. So we all need to watch that. If anything, look on the web for a air, I think, what is it called, where you can gauge the air purity and how it is. I forgot the name. There's one that I look at, but there's several out there to test the air quality, the VOG quality, if the air is good, and there's like a gauge in the chart that changes periodically, and you input your state and or city address, the zip code, and then it'll show you, it'll come up, the chart will come up with the air quality, if it's good and if it's not good. If it's good, it's in the green. If it's not, if it's really bad, it's in the red, so it goes green, yellow, orange to red. So yeah, it's good to, when there's a volcano eruption, it's always good to check the air quality continuously, so that you know more or less which way that fog will be blowing. I just can't stand it when it comes in this way. I mean, it's everything becomes humid here, and it's just thick fog hovering in the air. And it's like, ugh, you just don't want to be outdoors with this kind of stuff. So, you have to take extra precautionary measures for you and your family, and wear masks, if anything. I always wear a mask no matter where I go, despite, you know, the pandemic thing where everybody had to wear a mask. The difference is I like to wear a mask so nobody sees me. So I'm taking advantage of the mask. I'm wearing a mask as much as I possibly can, so anybody I know won't see me, and all these cameras all over the place. That's why I wear it now. I'm taking advantage of it, making the most of it. And that's basically why I wear my mask. I don't wear it everywhere, but I like to wear it and nobody knows. Especially if I'm buying a lot of stuff. That's one way to cover yourself with a face diaper and nobody knows who you are, and they can't be like, oh, that's that person that bought a lot of food the last time. No, you cover yourself up. Nobody knows. But that's just one of the things that I do. Anyway, guys, I'd like to thank you all for joining me in this live here. Been rambling on here. But if anything, please add your comments, your thoughts, your tips, your advice, all things to do with preparedness, what you are doing to keep yourself out of the fear and panic mode, and preparing as much as you can for you and your family, your neighbors, anything. Put all of your tips, all of your ideas, and share them away in the comments. I am so grateful and so blessed to have you all here, and being in this preparedness community is an honor, and to know other people living in other states. I may not know you personally, but we are family, we are friends, and preparedness brings us together. And we are like minded, and we are prepared, and we are doing what we can do as best as we can and capable of doing and affording as well, in all things preparedness. So, thank you so much for joining me here today. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. I so appreciate all of you from the bottom of my heart, which is bottomless. And yeah, just keep prepping, guys. Continue to prep, do the things that you need to do, and do your best not to fear, not to panic, and just keep preparing, because we all know when the need arises, the time to prepare has already passed. Have a great weekend, guys. Aloha. Oh, thank you. Mahalo nui loa. Thank you, guys. I'll see you again.